What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way, you might become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Kind of screwed up the intro. Don't really care. All I care about is getting back to profitable. Kind of a tough morning on Wednesday for me here as well. Lots of baseball still left to go here. Hopefully, Atlanta can get their S together. That'd be great. I don't know why I can totally say shit. They need to get their shit together. That'd be great. But a tough 2 days, but again, it's always interesting to me how the comment section gets a little bit more lively when things aren't necessarily going well for me, whereas the last month and a half, it's been pretty quiet there. So, you know what? Comes with the territory. I'll be better. I'm still going to keep just the nice nose to the grindstone. I don't understand that analogy, but my grandma used to say that, so we're going to do that. Sound great? Cool. Great talk. BetMGM, we'll talk about them a little bit later. I got producer Jacob, though, here. We're rolling. We're ready to rock on this 10-game slate here. Again, there's no jokes to make here at the top. I need to be better. Simple as that. Gonna continue working harder than everybody else. It's kind of how you get here. All right, y'all. Nothing else to add. Let's get to the picks. Our day begins with the Diamondbacks and the Braves, and a pretty fun one here with two pitchers in Zach Gallen and Spencer Strider that I'm absolutely, completely, totally head over heels and in love with. Starting with our guy Gallen, well, we usually get some kind of devalued number when you have him facing good teams. It's been less so this season, and, well, it's showing up here yet again, plus 167 for him. Of course, it's a super difficult spot going up against these Braves that, well, other than when I bet them today, they have a bajillion runs through 3 innings. But we'll see. Lots of time left here in the old baseball streets. And overall, well, Zach Allen's been awesome. A 299 xWOBA, 26.3% K rate. I love the four-seamer, nearly 50% usage on that thing, along with the curve, the cutter, the change, throwing it to different handedness, changing his levels really nicely. He's just a damn good pitcher and has been since day one. We're not getting the plus 200 money that we used to because Arizona's lineup has improved as such. And, well, we're definitely not getting it here because Spencer Strider, as good as he's been, there have been a couple of holes in his game. Now, I love Spencer Strider. I love the mustache. I love the walk. He's thick. It's inappropriate, but we love him for such things. Again, love is love. Do what you do. He's got a backside. I don't know why I'm saying these things. I love Spencer Strider. I don't need to prove it to you. But he's definitely got a couple of issues there in the pitch mix. Now, just a 60% four-seamer usage with the slider. He's a two-trick pony. Those are the only two pitches you really need when they're as good as what they are. But we're starting to see the walks being trimmed down, but a 3.06 expected ERA, and the four-seamer getting thrown less and less because the slider needs to get integrated a little bit more. He has found some success with it here this season, 56.1% whiff percentage with it. That's pretty damn good, but there are times when the walks just spike. There are times when it's not necessarily on. Now, it hasn't been lately. He's had 9 Ks now in his last 5 outings, double digits in 3 of 4. But he's faced pretty nominal competition. Minnesota, Miami, at Tampa Bay, solid, of course, and then the White Sox. Those are 3 not exactly world beaters, and against the White Sox, that's the concerning outing there. You get the humidity, you get this morning dew over there in Atlanta. 5 earned runs that he gave up against the White Sox, and now some morning baseball against an Arizona team that has talent, obviously. A 106 WRC plus against righties. Is he still going to find his strikeouts? Yes, but is he going to find the zone here? I don't know. It's such an unpredictable spot for me here that I want to say the under of 9 because of how much I like the pitching profiles of both these players. But it's hard not to also like the total outlook of these lineups going up against them in the morning and the afternoon here. Looks like it'll be hot and humid. I think this is a wait and see. Maybe we have some props show up, but the under of 9, that's going to be my lean, but not a play that I'm all that interested in to get our day kicked off. Interested in this one, though, we have the Milwaukee Brewers going up against the Philadelphia Phillies. As you can see above me, again, producer Jacob, good stuff. Corbin Burns up against Taijuan Walker. And Taijuan Walker, we've actually tried a couple of dabbles. We've dabbled in the old streets, considering he's shown some improvement over the last month of baseball. Now, against Tampa Bay, gave up 4 earned, but besides that one, he has not given up more than 2 earned in 6 of his last 7 outings. Really good stuff. The ground ball rate continues to trend up. You can tell by now that's something I'm always interested in because BABIP, over a long period of time, batting average of balls in play. If you have a ground ball rate, even when those get through and see the gap, they're not going in the air. They're not resulting in freebies and home runs and the things that, I don't know, everybody's being taught to do, lofting the baseball from a young age now here, or, everybody's been in the league for a while. They understand how important it is to be launching the ball in the air. But I want to be backing Corbin Burnes here on the other side because I think he's been the far more impressive of the two here of late. 13 strikeouts in Cincinnati the other day, just the 2 hits given up. He's back to doing Corbin Burnes things. Again, not just that 13K outing, but really good stuff with just 2 earned despite 3 hits. And he gave up 1 hit in 7 innings against Pittsburgh, and yet it resulted in 2 earned runs. I think the box score could look a lot better even than what it has of late. The velocity seems like it continues to slowly tick back up. And yes, this is a Philly team with tons of lefty power. Bring it up all the time here on this program. But there's also going to be strikeouts available. 23.1% K rate, that's 13th highest in baseball, so dead middle. Only a 101 WRC plus against righties and a 156 ISO. You'd expect better numbers. Now, if you can avoid, I don't know, is Derek Hall going to probably be in this lineup? I would expect so. Kyle Schwarber especially, Bryce Harper, Brandon Marsh, the usual lefties here. If you can get by them, Bryson Stott hasn't been much of anything, even though 273 expected batting average, that's not nothing. I think we're looking at Milwaukee being undervalued here at plus 106. The better pitcher, the better bullpen, both Taco John's. Anyway, no, nobody gets that joke. That's a Midwest thing. Better ingredients, better pizza. We don't talk about Papa John's. They're done too. Milwaukee, thumbs up. This weird thumbs up. First one of the day. I forgot. I'm not supposed to be having fun. We're not having fun. It's the serious stuff. I need to be better, and then I can be funny again. I was never funny. San Francisco taking on Cincinnati here in this spot. Alex Cobb and Andrew Abbott. Abbott, we're starting to see some of what that regression could be for him from time to time. Overall, though, not a bad debut here for a debut season. 2.46 ERA, 1.01 whip. Overall, across the board, he's the kind of guy that I still expect that xFIP to catch up to him a little bit. But he's been exceptional to a point where I don't want to over-scrutinize him. Yes, he's going to have to deal with all this platoon BS that you get from San Francisco every single time. So expect a mutiny of righties. Is that the right way of saying it? Sure, it's fine. J.D. Davis, Austin Slater, Patrick Bailey, Blake Sable, David VR. He's back in that lineup here as well, even though he's been terrible. Luis Matos, Wilmer Flores, who's gotten hot out of nowhere, even though he's still got a 30.6% hard hit percentage. Just saying. 7, 8 righties, definitely in play for this projected San Francisco lineup, but I want to see how that lineup rolls out. We're going to have plenty of time. That's what I'm in the premium Discord to do, is update you based on new information. And so this San Francisco lineup will matter. They've had to play a lot of baseball here in the course of the last 2 days. Had the makeup game the suspended game that they had to finish. Then some weird lineup iterations. Brandon Crawford now on the IL, so you don't have to worry about him being in the 9-hole left on left. Interesting stuff from San Francisco. I want to be waiting on that. But I know for a fact who's going to be in this lineup for the Cincinnati Reds because they always have these lefties who come to play. And I used to throw this guy's name out once in a while. And, we're going to throw it out there yet again, friends. Jake Fraley. Yes, Jake Fraley. Not exactly the most powerful dude on the face of Earth, but against righties, he's actually showed out quite a bit throughout this season. Has a 343 xWOBA and a 264 expected batting average. Doesn't matter as much. But the 16-degree average launch angle, 420 expected slugging, and Alex Cobb giving up a 45.2% hard hit percentage, albeit gives up that lower launch. I want some guys who are going to be lofting it there in Cincinnati. I think if anybody hits a homer, why not our dude Jake Fraley? Last time I put him on the card, he went yard for us. If we're getting better than plus 390, I know that's a very specific number, but again, it's a break-even price. I can talk through that whenever you guys would like. Hit me up on Twitter at Eric Lindquist for Lindy's Locks update. Happy to be doing that, but I think this is definitely going to end up being on the card. Jake Fraley to go yard. That one feels good in Great American Small Park. How about a single game parlay? What you know about parlay? Well, not a lot because I don't do it a ton. Don't be paying too much vig for stuff that you can just stick to the straight bets that you're used to. I know that gonna have it your way or nothing at all, but I think you're moving too fast. Blake Snell, he's life comes at you fast, bro. Really tough beginning of the season. Somehow we avoided all of the landmines, and now he's just turned into good again. No earned against the Phillies. However, 82 pitches, they ended up pulling the plug on him. I don't know if that was just them trying to limit some of those innings. They, of course, then gave up that. So tilting to me. 82 pitches. We were on the San Diego side. On San Diego again, the last 2 days. They win Tuesday. Hopefully they can win for us here on Wednesday. But Blake Snell has definitely been rolling. But before we talk about him, should probably just go a little bit about Chris Bassett because, well, we're not going to be backing him in any way, shape, or form. For one, he doesn't believe in advanced analytics. That's buffoonery. For two, 329 xWOBA, 427 expected slugging, and a 12.6 degree average launch angle. Throws a smattering of pitchers, but primarily a sinker baller. But giving up barrels, 9.2% barrel percentage. And San Diego, top of this lineup, still has that pop. We know they got that pop. In fact, I think they're undervalued yet again here at minus 115. The way better pitcher on the mound, the better bullpen. That was always the case. And now Blake Snell being the guy that we want to be backing. This is the Blake Snell version that we were waiting for, we didn't have to target him earlier because this was not the version. But we're seeing a really drastic improvement in terms of his home run profile as well. Only given up one home run since the 11th of June. That's over a month of work here. Only one home run given up. That bodes well against these Toronto Blue Jays. And, well, I understand Toronto does not strike out all that much against anybody, but especially against left-handed pitching. They are one of the best at avoiding it. 19.3% K rate, fourth best mark in baseball, but just a 98 WRC plus. And I still think Blake Snell, talent overcomes all. So let's go with a measly kind of a line. Blake Snell, 6+ Ks for all you single game parlay people, in addition to the Padres money line. So a very small number here. I don't want to be paying too much vig. I'm not sure where this line ends up being. 5.5 seems like it'll end up being low. 6.5, I want to see where the juice is at. So I'm giving all of you single game parlay people the low number as opposed to the high number, which I generally lean towards. And then I want to see where this prop ends up dropping at for tomorrow. Very fascinated to see what we end up getting because Blake Snell, you give me 6.5 with plus money attached to it, I'm probably putting that together with the San Diego money line. Hate it. Hate this game. Don't skip it, though. We'll talk about it. Michael Kopech here going up against Jose Quintana. And if you haven't heard that name for a while, it's because it's his debut for this season. But let's start with the Kopech side of this one because, well, he might not be wearing a White Sox uniform for very much longer. Now, I don't know who exactly. I guess Kopech might make sense for them to keep in-house and just unload Lucas Giolito. That's for sure a pitcher I don't expect to be with them later. But a 25.5% K rate with a 14% walk rate. One of those is really good. One of those is really bad. I shouldn't have to tell you which one. He's still giving up hard contact and high hard contact at that 18.8 degree average launch angle with a 41.4% hard hit percentage. More than enough lefties who can do damage here in this Mets lineup between Nimmo and Vogelbach and Beatty. It's a whole thing. And I like these righties too. Jeff McNeil, even though he's had a really rough year, hard contact numbers way down. Friends, Jose Quintana on the other side of this one, he's an interesting outlook. He did get up to 78 pitches in his last final minor league rehab assignment. I don't know why I'm enunciating my words like that or why my computer is shaking, but it is because Jose Quintana generally been a pretty good pitcher. Again, last season, awesome pitcher, 2.93 ERA, 1.21 whip, everything across the board, better than it had been in a very long time. But only a 20.2% K rate, 257 expected batting average. I think if I did anything, I'd be backing him blindly. But this is kind of an iffy number for me. It's kind of split between a rock and a hard place. I don't know what I mean by that. Lots of analogies that I don't quite understand. But minus 144, is that our hard place? Yeah, we're going to not be betting this. Mets. New York Mets money line. I don't know what's going on with me. Let's talk BetMGM, shall we? Turn around. Yeah, we got to turn this thing around, baby. That's for sure. Last 2 days, not been my best. But if you ask anybody in the old comment section below, it's been a really good last month and a half. I think that's why we're seeing so many more new viewers to the Leans, Likes, and Locks. Talked through it multiple times. So eternally grateful to all of you. But I want to hang out with all of you too. And this is the best opportunity that I've seen in a long time where you can do that for free. All you have to do is try out BetMGM for any amount of money you feel comfortable with, whether that's $10, $20, $50, $100, doesn't matter. You go to the link below, you sign up at BetMGM, and we're going to get you those 2 free months of OS Premium Discord. And it's not just myself, because if it were, this would be a really bleak last 2 days. But we have Ben Raza, Eitan Shander, super sharp guys hanging out there. In addition, Isaiah Suarez, we got Mike, our MMA guy. So many genius people that you have access to day in, day out. For me, you give me Sunday through Friday. Great stuff. Saturday, it's a day of rest. But otherwise, I'm in there grinding with all of you, putting my tickets out there, putting my money where my mouth is. If you want to hang out with us, if you want to see how the sausage is made and actually have the sausage, there you go. That was a strange thing to say. But also, you're going to get yourself $1,000 on that first wager coming back to you in bonus bets if it doesn't win. So whether that's 10, 20, 50, 100, no matter what it is that you put on that first wager, up to $1,000. If you win, you keep the money. If you lose, you get it back in bonus bets. That is a can't miss kind of offer if you ask me. So head to that comment section below. Take advantage of this offer. Check out BetMGM. Great lines, great opportunities for all of y'all. 2 free months of the OS Premium Discord, up to $1,000 in those bonus bets coming back to you on your first wager if it doesn't win. That's all I really got for you. It's good stuff. Only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all, back to the picks. It's another gross little lean, but we'll get it quick and get it over with and all of that stuff, mainly because we don't know who's going to be on the mound necessarily for Kansas City, although I have my suspicions. I think it's going to be Zach Greinke. I think he's coming off of the IL, 15-day IL at that. We haven't seen him pitch since the 4th. I think this matches up perfectly. I think that his shoulder sounds as though it's doing better. Although his performance, he's 1-9 on the season, 5.44 ERA, 1.30 WHIP, has just been bad for the last couple of years, but I don't know, he just likes pitching. You don't have to be good. You enjoy what you do. You just keep doing it, I suppose. There's a joke there about my last 2 days of betting, but I'm not going to make it. Either way, Michael Lorenzen, all-star game representative of the Detroit Tigers, Michael Lorenzen. It's actually been good. First start after the break, went into Seattle, 97 pitches, 5 walks isn't great, 7 Ks is great. Only 2 hits though, 0 earned, 0 long balls in his last 3 outings, including 1 in Coors Field. Overall, been pretty impressive for what Michael Lorenzen can be. But overall, the pitch mix, not something that I'm looking at backing at the numbers that I'm assuming we get here for Detroit. Sure, if you want me to give it to if I get him at -110, if I get even money going up against Zach Greinke, sounds great. But we've routinely seen Detroit be the favorite team throughout this series. In fact, we backed them, got tons of closing line value, and then still got obliterated there on the money line 2 days ago. But, friends, we'll be paying close attention to this one. I'm going to be leaning towards the Detroit side of this one. I do think Greinke ends up being the starter, as I have this projected. I would need better than that -110 to be firing it up, and maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised to see -105 or something of that nature, but more than likely, this game ends up being a stay away. Anybody else feel like the Twins and Mariners have played 458 times in a row? Just me? I'm sick of watching it. Unless we win tonight, then I'll keep it rocking. They start in like 30 minutes. Can't wait. That's what I'm doing with my night. Anyway, we got Pablo Lopez, George Kirby, a pitching extraordinaire. And no, friends, I am not going to put a total on the board. You can all rejoice. Yay! Eric can't screw up our lives in this ballpark, even though, I don't know, I've been really profitable on it up until the last 2 days. Can we not overreact to a 2-day sample size of the Twins and Mariners? That'd be great. Although, again, it feels like shit, and I'm just trying to bail myself out. But, you know, Pablo Lopez, he doesn't need anybody to bail him out. He's really, really good at the old throwing of the baseballs. A 276 xWOBA, a 30.2% K rate, a 210 expected batting average, and now in the best pitcher's park that one could ask for. My hesitation with the under here actually doesn't revolve around him at all against Seattle, because I do think he sets up better between the two of these. I think you know by now, George Kirby, there are moments he just pulls me in, but they've been few and far between compared to the public sentiment around him, which is that he's elite, which I don't agree with in any way, shape, or form. Was he a first rounder out of 2019? Yes. Did he have a really good debut season last year with a 3.31 expected ERA, just a 4% walk rate and a 24.5% K rate? Yes. But hitters have started to figure him out. Now, he doesn't have the sample size he had last year yet, but a 20.7% K rate is not all of that. That's below your league average starter. He's also got a 4 expected ERA attached to him now. He's throwing this 4-seamer 39% of the time, which I don't think is all that prohibitive of a pitch. It's decent. 254 expected batting average. It's a lot better than the 221 batting average. Sorry, it's worse than the 221 batting average that he's given up. So I expect negative regression for that pitch in terms of balls in play. But the sinker and slider have been a little bit of an issue. We're talking a 306 expected batting average, 268 expected batting average, north of 400 expected slugging on the slider curveball combination. He doesn't really have a secondary pitch that I'm all that nervous about when facing a team in the Twins here on the other side that I think profile pretty nicely against him. Alex Kirilloff, I bring him up all the time where I think he's a breakout candidate for this second half of the season. A 60 out of 60 raw power grade score over on Fangraphs. You have a number of other pieces that are just good enough that I can't believe we're getting plus 118 when I substantially prefer Pablo Lopez between the two. Is there a case to be made that the Twins lineup in its current iteration is worse than the Mariners? Sure, but not by much, and definitely not enough to justify minus 135 here. I have this closer to an even money proposition, borderline lock. This would be the second lock that I would possibly have put into play here for you. Maybe this ends up getting upgraded to a unit, but this got a half unit treatment immediately. Minnesota money line, think they are clear cut the better side to be on between the two for Thursday. Just 3 games left. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell as we go to a showdown in the AL East. The tied for first Baltimore Orioles take on the tied for first Tampa Bay Rays. One of these teams on the ascension, one of these teams on the decline. We're heading into Tropicana though, and well, get ready for fireworks. Kyle Gibson on the mound up against Tyler Glasnow. I think you know by now I really like Glasnow. Let's talk about Kyle Gibson though, because he has started to show some better stuff here of late, even in a difficult ballpark there in his home grounds of Camden that still plays up for lefty power. We're seeing some decent stuff though. We saw 16 ground balls against Miami. That's a lot of balls in play. Only the 1 strikeout, but the time before that, 11 Ks, 7 innings pitched, with a decent amount of ground ball. Well, only the 5 ground balls there in that spot, but he was basically just mowing Minnesota Twins down, which is going to happen from time to time. When I go back to the last game, yeah, Minnesota's got a gigantic K rate. What you going to do about it? Kyle Gibson winning baseball games in a fashion of ways helps to have Adley Rutschman back there calling games. 4.77 ERA though, 1.35 WHIP, and this is a difficult spot. Tampa Bay still a 120 WRC plus, still a 196 ISO, remarkable numbers, but we have to expect negative regression as they come down here in a spot like this. And well, plus 150 at least had me interested to think about the Baltimore side, but I can't do it against Tyler Glasnow, and that's where we're going to be backing an under here for this game. Not locking it, just a simple half unit like. The guy's got a 1.24 whip, 3.78 ERA, but I expect him to get better and better as the reps increase. He's got a 35.1% K rate, a 236 expected batting average, and he's pitching in a great home ballpark. I know that this park has played more neutral this season, but that's partially because Tampa Bay's been on an absolute tear that I don't think is sustainable. So this ballpark should still play more towards pitchers. So 48.2% hard hit percentage, under 8.5, I think is a pretty clear-cut play, but crazy to say. I do prefer the Baltimore side of it if you're thinking about a play on an outright, even though I can't go against my guy Glasnow here in this spot. Under 8.5, just fine with it. No run line available, no total available, but you know what? Daddy do not care. And why does Daddy not care? Why am I calling myself Daddy? The world may never know. It's a little bit strange. But my God, we're pulling into our lock station. One-time dealer. Can we get back on track? That would be awesome. I have to start making fun of myself in the comments section. What if I start trolling myself? That would feel better. No, just winning bets and like smashing. I want to get back to that. All-Star game was great for me, but since then, been a little wish-washy. I think we're going to get it going, though, here with Steven Matz on the mound, Marcus Stroman on the other side of this one. One of these pitchers I like, one of them I don't. Steven Matz, the lefty that I think might also be on the move. Does anybody want him, though? I doubt it. 1.51 whip, 0-7 record, 4.86 ERA. I don't like anything with this pitch mix. And, well, overall, Steven Matz is not good. My dog just jumped down. You don't care about that. I care about keeping going here because, well, this is what matters. Marcus Stroman profiles really well against the St. Louis team. And that's not something that I say lightly because Marcus Stroman kind of having a resurgent year, if you will. I do still get a little bit nervous about the St. Louis team, but I looked ahead to the wind. Looks like it's going to be pretty neutral. So that was the first part of the equation. I don't want upward variance here, but a 2.88 ERA, 1.09 whip here for Marcus Stroman. And overall, I think his strikeout stuff plays up against this St. Louis lineup compared to what you might be projecting. Now, St. Louis, they have guys like Alec Burleson, Brendan Donovan, Dylan Carlson, Lars Nootbaar. Those will all be 4 guys that I expect to be in this lineup, or at least 3 of them, and they strike out less than 22% of the time. But Jordan Walker been playing more and more, north of 22%. Wilson Contreras going back into, I'm sure they won't be booing him, 23.2% K rate for him. Paul DeJong, Nolan Gorman, a lot of these guys that I still have strikeout interest in here. And again, this ballpark is going to be playing pretty neutral, I think, for Thursday's festivities. Again, we don't have this total. There's enough wind around where I think that they just don't want it to be moving in one direction or the other. We're moving out, but it almost doesn't matter to me when I think this Cubs lineup should smash against one Steven Matz here. Tons of righty power that is starting to emerge. At least, there's nowhere for them to go but up. A 107 WRC plus against lefties on the season. This is all systems go. My favorite play on the board by a landslide right now. The Chicago Cubs money line at minus 125. Bellinger left on left continues to be impressive still. A number of righties. It all projects out nicely. One-time dealer. Let's get this thing across the finish line. The Cubs to smash on Thursday. And our last game of the night doesn't look pretty, but there is one play that definitely jumps out for me on the way out. We have JP France going up against Hogan Harris. And Hogan Harris isn't good. It's probably not the right. He is really not good. 43.7% hard hit percentage, a 335 xWOB, a 19.2% K rate here for the Southpaw on the season. But a very limited 820 pitch sample size, has still limited barrels sub 8%, and the walk rate has been way up, and the ERA way up, despite a 4.72 expected ERA, which is not good. But it's not a 6.51 ERA that he has. So Hogan Harris, positive regression, even though it hasn't exactly been good. Also, the ballpark helps to is more conducive of preventing runs, especially because this is first pitch. One of your evening games, your only evening game really on the entire board. Chicago, I guess it's 7:05 starting first pitch. But either way, this Houston JP France madness, definitely not going to be backing them either here. A 258 expected batting average, a 16.9% K rate. Nothing all that good across the board, and we're seeing some lefties. Yeah, Ryan Noda breaking his jaw is not ideal, but you're seeing back-to-back dogs for JJ Bleday. You're seeing some guys like Brent Rooker continuing to hit the ball really, really hard. Seth Brown, 47.8% hard hit percentage. Brent Rooker from the right side. But either way, the point remains. JP France, not exactly somebody that I want to be backing at minus 170. Not exactly somebody that the run line should have here, but I know it says minus 110 here. There's actually a minus 105 that exists over on the run line right now as well. Minus 104 as it is moved in the last second over on FanDuel. I already bet at minus 105. It is what it is. So we're locked in on it. Minus 104 on the run line, getting a run and a half against JP France. I'm interested in this ballpark. So a low total as it should be. Ryan Noda broke his jaw. That sucks. But this is still a pretty big total for a Houston lineup that I don't find to be all that intriguing to back. So plus 1.5. We get a measly little like here on the way out. Oakland gets it done for us on Thursday. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to that comment section below. Let me know how stupid I've been the last 2 days. It's been a wild 2 days of baseball. We had 12 double-digit run teams on Tuesday, Wednesday. You have Atlanta struggling again, despite the much better starter on the mound, down 4-1 in the 6th inning. Hopefully we can get a comeback there. Don't call it a comeback. Actually, that's exactly what I'd call it. We need it here. But you know what? I'll continue to be better. The process has worked for the last month and a half. We've been locked in. I'm looking forward to getting you back in the winner's circle here very, very shortly. Hey, you can guarantee yourself a win by checking out BetMGM. Up to $1,000 in bonus bets in your account when you sign up at the link below. Go ahead and do that on your first wager. That is, if your first wager loses, you get that back in bonus bets. That's great stuff, as well as 2 months of Discord insider access. Check it all out, my friends. Alrighty, y'all, I'm out of here. I'll be back on Friday. Let's get a Thursday going, shall we? Until next time, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Thursday.